Enterprise architecture can feel complex. Strategies, systems, data, governance, and change all moving at once. TOGAF gives us a structured way to connect those moving parts. In this topic, we'll build the foundation for using it confidently. We've already seen why enterprise architecture matters. It connects strategy, change, technology, risk, and outcomes. Now we'll look at how TOGAF makes that work structured and repeatable, before moving into principles, stakeholders, and the Azure AI case study. TOGAF is best understood as a practical framework for making enterprise architecture repeatable and useful. It gives teams a common way to plan, design, build, and govern change, so architecture becomes more than documentation. It connects business goals with applications, data, technology, and the organizational changes needed to deliver value. Just as important, TOGAF is flexible. A small company, a government agency, or a global enterprise can tailor it to its industry, delivery model, and maturity. So think of TOGAF as a structured toolkit, not a rigid recipe. Organizations use TOGAF because enterprise change can easily become fragmented. Different teams may define goals, systems, risks, and priorities in different ways. TOGAF provides a common language and a repeatable path from strategy to roadmap. It connects business outcomes to architecture decisions, solution designs, and implementation plans, so choices are traceable instead of ad hoc. It also helps teams manage complexity across data, applications, infrastructure, security, and cloud. Governance provides the checkpoints, making sure decisions are reviewed, justified, and aligned with enterprise priorities. Think of TOGAF as a connected operating system, not a single method. The ADM provides the repeatable process for defining, planning, building, and managing architecture change. Architecture content explains what gets produced: deliverables, artifacts, building blocks, and descriptions. The enterprise continuum and architecture repository help classify, store, and reuse those assets instead of reinventing them. Finally, architecture capability and governance make the practice real inside the organization through roles, decision rights, reviews, and controls. Together, these components turn architecture from static documentation into a managed, reusable business capability. At the center of TOGAF is the ADM, the engine of architecture work. It starts by preparing the organization, then moves through architecture vision, business architecture, information systems architecture, and technology architecture. From there, architects identify opportunities, plan migration, govern implementation, and manage change. But this is not a one-way waterfall. Requirements stay central, so every phase is checked against business needs and stakeholder priorities. When risks, constraints, or strategy shifts, the method can loop back. That makes the ADM adaptable for agile delivery, cloud programs, AI initiatives, and regulated environments. We'll unpack each phase later. To manage complexity, TOGAF separates enterprise architecture into 4 domains while keeping the enterprise view intact. Business architecture asks, what capabilities, processes, roles, and value streams must the enterprise have? Data architecture asks, what information is needed and how is it governed, protected, and shared? Application architecture asks, which systems and services support those capabilities and how do they interact? Technology architecture asks, what platforms, infrastructure, networks, cloud services, and security foundations make everything run? The key idea is that these domains are distinct views of one enterprise, not separate projects. Business architecture is the bridge between ambition and execution. It takes strategy and makes it concrete. What capabilities are needed, which value streams and processes deliver them, who is responsible, and what business services support the work. That structure exposes the gap between today's operation and the target outcome. It also keeps technology investment honest. Instead of funding isolated requests, leaders can prioritize platforms that enable measurable business value. For Azure AI, this means clarifying who uses the AI services, what decisions improve, and which capabilities become faster, smarter, or more scalable. Data architecture turns raw information into a trusted enterprise asset. It defines what data exists, where it comes from, who owns it, how it moves, how long it is kept, and how it is protected. The key mental model is flow plus governance. Data is created in source systems. integrated into shared platforms, enriched with metadata and quality controls, and then made available for analytics, AI, compliance, and decisions. For AI especially, this foundation matters. Models are only as reliable as the data behind them, including lineage, classification, access control, and master data consistency. Application architecture connects business capabilities to the software ecosystem that delivers them. Start with the applications people use, then look at the APIs, interfaces, and workflows that allow those applications to share data and trigger processes. Beneath that are enabling services like identity, security, data platforms, and AI capabilities. This view exposes dependencies, which systems are critical, which are duplicated, and where integration is fragile. It also turns modernization into practical choices. Buy, build, reuse, retire, consolidate, or replace, based on how each application supports the target operating model. Technology architecture provides the foundation for enterprise solutions to run reliably at scale. It brings together cloud platforms, compute, storage, networking, middleware, identity, security, monitoring, and operations into a coherent platform model. The goal is not just to choose technologies. It is to standardize how teams build, deploy, secure, and operate solutions. In Azure-based enterprise AI, this includes landing zones, virtual networks, identity integration, key management, observability, and secure platform services. When this layer is well designed, applications and AI workloads inherit resilience, performance, maintainability, and governance by default. TOGAF organizes architecture content into three related forms. Deliverables are the official work products, the items reviewed, approved, and governed, such as an architecture definition document or roadmap. Artifacts are the views inside or supporting those deliverables, including capability maps, data models, application diagrams, and standards. Building blocks are reusable pieces of architecture or solution design, such as capabilities, services, platforms, or implemented components. The value is discipline. TOGAF turns architecture from conversations and drawings into governed content that teams can reference, reuse, and trace back to decisions. The enterprise continuum is the organizing map, and the architecture repository is the library. The continuum classifies assets from broad, reusable foundations through common and industry patterns towards solutions tailored to one organization. The repository is where those assets actually live: standards, reference models, building blocks, architecture models, and governance evidence. Used together, they turn architecture work into institutional knowledge. Teams can find what already exists, adapt proven patterns, and trace decisions over time. In large enterprises, this prevents duplicated effort and reduces the risk of every project inventing its own inconsistent approach. A mature architecture practice needs more than methods and models. It needs capability, defined roles, skilled people, repeatable processes, usable tools, and a way to improve maturity over time. Governance turns that capability into trusted decisions. Architecture choices are reviewed, approved, monitored, and kept aligned with standards and business priorities. For certification, Foundation focuses on recognizing TOGAF terms, concepts, components, and relationships. Practitioner goes further. You apply those ideas in scenarios, tailor the ADM, interpret stakeholder concerns, and justify decisions. To wrap up, TOGAF gives us a shared structure for enterprise architecture: the ADM lifecycle, reusable content, governance, repositories, and architecture capability. The four domains help us examine change from business, data, application, and technology perspectives. Next, we'll connect this foundation to principles, requirements, and stakeholders, then apply it to a secure enterprise AI platform on Azure.